Yo, what is up YouTube? Back with another video. Today, I'm going to be talking about the Steelers-Browns game. I thought this game was going to be pretty garbage going into the season, but both of these teams are red hot. Cleveland Browns with 4 wins and 1 loss, really nice record, unexpected to be honest. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are 4-0, who had the bye week 4, so they've only played 4 games. I'm not going to lie. I think Cleveland has been playing pretty nice recently. I think their offense is very good. I say this because, their rushing game is outstanding. Obviously, Nick Chubb is not going to be in this game against the Steelers, but Kareem Hunt, a backup running back, who's debatably top 20, top 10 running back in the NFL. That's how good their backup running back is, along with the passing game, which performed decently against the Colts. I'm going to say the passing game was doing really good against the Colts, really good defense, until Baker started throwing interceptions. I was like, of course Baker's back, he's throwing interceptions. And the Browns defense, on the other hand, it's been giving up a lot of points against good teams like the Cowboys. They gave up a lot. The Colts, I'm not going to say their offense is good. They gave up 23 against them. They basically got shut out by the Ravens. But their defense overall, going into week 6, I wouldn't say it's top 10. But Myles Garrett is the only good player on that defense. He is debatably Defensive Player of the Year. But no. TJ Watt's got something else to say about that. TJ Watt, in my opinion, the front runner, in my opinion, TJ Watt, he won Defensive Player of the Month. He's been playing really good. He's getting a lot of sacks. The Pittsburgh Steelers are leading the NFL in sacks, even though they've played 4 games compared to 5, like everybody else. That simple stat just shows you how good this team is with that many sacks, with, one less game played than everybody else. It shows you how dominant the Steelers defensive line is. But the Steelers secondary, which I thought was going to be one of the best in the league, is playing horrendously. They gave up a huge game to the Eagles wide receiver 6th-round pick many years ago, Fulgham. That's just embarrassing. I didn't see it coming. Nobody else saw it coming. But this dude lit up the Steelers secondary. These defenses are similar, but honestly, the Steelers' defensive line is so good, it's not comparable to any other defensive line in the NFL. But there are similarities with Myles Garrett's and the Steelers' defensive line, just dominant. They get to the quarterback a lot. There's a lot of pressure. And they have similarities in the secondary where they're just giving up mass amount of points for some unknown reason. I understand what the Browns are, but the Steelers, with all that talent in the secondary, they're giving up a lot of passing yards. So the Steelers, in my opinion, they definitely prepared for Deshaun Jackson and Alshon Jeffrey, who were both out. They kind of, prepared for the wrong players that entire bye week they had off in the week before. And what happens is they get destroyed by a random wide receiver. But that's not going to happen again because they're playing Jarvis Landry and Odell. They'll have them locked down, maybe, and they'll be playing a better game overall. So defensively, I think I just talked about everything I should talk about. Honestly, I think the Steelers' defense is better. Their defensive line is the best in the league. Their secondary is not playing good, along with the Browns. Their secondary is not playing good either. It definitely played well against the Colts, but I don't think the Colts are a good offensive team. Overall, I'd give the edge to the Steelers' defense in this game. But we got to talk about the offenses. Man, both of these offenses are lighting it up. Week 5 was just a point getter for both of these teams. Starting with the Steelers offense, near putting up 40 points, putting 38 up against the Eagles. I wasn't really that surprised. But of course, Chase Claypool was the biggest surprise of the week for every team. Who would have thought a rookie wide receiver would score 4 touchdowns in 1 game? The offense was playing decent, but Chase Claypool just brought that decent level to a great level. Juju, James Washington, Ebron played decent. Ebron almost choked that game for them. And they were causing a lot of problems. But when Chase Claypool destroys Darius Slay, one of the best corners in the NFL. Man, that just brings positivity and a bright future for Chase Claypool, and he's definitely going to be a scary target for the rest of the year. The rushing game, it wasn't good. The Eagles' defensive line is the second best in the league, so that was expected. Still, the Steelers got a rushing touchdown. They had a couple decent plays, and they had over 100 yards rushing because they gave up that Ray McCloud rush. So overall, the Steelers' offense is playing good right now, and I expect it to play good against the Browns. My expectation is a good passing game from the Steelers. Juju, Claypool, Deontay Johnson's obviously hurt again. Hopefully he's back. James Washington, Ebron, elite passing game. I think the Browns' defensive line's pretty good, and if Myles Garrett, gets to Big Ben, which I think will happen once or twice, and disrupts the rushing game, then James Conner could get limited in this game. But I'm expecting around 80 to 100 rushing yards and over 300 passing yards by the Steelers in this game. But now we got to look at the Browns, who just absolutely surprised everybody against the Cowboys. Odell Beckham Jr. went off in that game. He lit up everything. That dude was amazing in that game. Unfortunately, they lost Nick Chubb in that game. It's going to be a very bad thing for Browns fans against the Steelers because the Steelers have the best rush defense in the league. If Miles Sanders didn't get that, 70-yard touchdown against the Steelers, then the rushing yards would have been literally around 20 rushing yards that game. So that just shows how dominant the Steelers' defensive line is. Their rushing game is amazing, and that's going to be a big problem for Kareem Hunt to handle. So with that key factor in mind, that Kareem Hunt's going to be very limited in this game, that results for the Cleveland Browns to throw the football. I was honestly surprised by watching Baker Mayfield, complete those many great passes to his receivers against the Colts defense. But in the second half, I saw the old Baker come back. The first half of that game, the dude looked like a superstar. Second half, Baker throws 2 interceptions. It's kind of expected. The Colts defense is really nice, but they gave up those interceptions. They also gave up that touchdown on special teams, which I guess you can say Deontay and Ray McCloud are pretty good at returning the football. Even though Baker threw those 2 picks, the Steelers' defense is not. Its secondary is not playing good. It's playing embarrassingly bad with all that talent that it has. So even though I think the Steelers' defense is going to lock down Odell Beckham and Jarvis, I still think the Browns are going to have a really good passing day. Just because you saw the Steelers get abused against the Eagles. What? And I think it's going to happen once again. I expect this game to be very good, and I honestly wouldn't be surprised if either of these teams won the game. I'm going to give the game to the team with home field advantage, only because I think that's what matters the most. No matter where this game is, I think home field advantage is the most important factor. Overall, I think the Steelers, they're a little better. The rushing game for the Browns is really good. It's one of the best in the league. But with Nick Chubb out and the Steelers' defensive line just special with destroying the run game, I can see the Steelers being the better team in that aspect. Both of these secondaries are pretty bad. And, it just all comes out to who has the better offense. I think Steelers, I don't even know who has the better offense. I think it's equal at this point in time. We saw the Steelers light up. We saw the Browns light up. There's no really saying who's better at this point in time. But I can guarantee the Steelers' defensive line is better. And that is why I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to win this game. I think it's going to be that 1 week where the Steelers, they finally get their garbage together on the secondary. Joe Hayden and Minka, Steven Nelson start playing like they're in the NFL, and they destroy Jarvis and Odell, the 2 best players on that passing game, of course. And Baker Mayfield, I expect him to get sacked a lot in this game. I could see Baker throwing a couple interceptions. We're going to have to see maybe 1 or 2. But the thing about the Steelers' offense that brings light. This is why they're 4-0. It's that they don't turn the ball over. With only with one turnover against the Eagles, which was that Eric Ebron debatably garbage call, that fumble he had, whatever. But Ben Roethlisberger has only threw one interception this year. Just the stats are so up compared to a couple of years ago where he was just slinging it, the ball was intercepted. He threw 5 picks in one game against the Jaguars. I don't think that's happening anymore. Big Ben is more accurate. He's not throwing picks, which is the key factor in this matchup. Turnovers are important. I still think the Steelers got this game by, I don't know, maybe 3 or 7 points. We're going to have to see. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Adios.